All right, welcome back everybody to this series on ProPresenter. This is a series for beginners who don't really know anything about the software. If you haven't seen the first two videos, this is the third installment. The first two give you an overview of the UI and how to build a theme. This video is going to focus on how to build a song. Today we're going to build a song from Song Select, which is another website slash software that you can subscribe to, where you can import lyrics that are kind of already built for you. If you don't have Song Select, I believe you have to pay for it. I think our church has a subscription. If you don't have Song Select, typically what you would do is you would copy and paste the lyrics from a Google search or from online. But what we're going to do is we are going to use Song Select. So I already have a library of songs. As you can see over here, I've got about 200 that I've got in here. Some of them aren't songs, but that's irrelevant at this point in time. But right now I've got a playlist. I've shown you how to make a playlist in a previous one. And then we've got some placeholders. This is where I'm going to import a song. You could, over here, if you'd like, create a new presentation. But what we're going to do is we're just going to add it onto this placeholder. So over here, in this top right corner of the placeholder, we have a plus, a import, and then a search. What we're going to do is do this search, and then we have this. This searches your libraries. So if you have a song you want to add into this placeholder, it's already in your library. You search right here. If you want to search Song Select, you search here. If you want to search multi-tracks, which since I don't have an account, it asks me to log in when I click that. You can do that third option. So we're going to go to Song Select. We're going to type in Amazing. This is a new song by Josiah Queen and Elevation Rhythm. We're going to pull this one in. So I double clicked right there, and this is going to give us a few options. The parsing, how often we want to break apart the lyrics into a new slide. So every 2 lines, we want a new slide. That's our standard here. You might want to do every 1 line, every 3, every 4, just depending on how you do the lyrics at your church or at your wherever you're doing it. So we're going to choose our theme. This is already set to the one we made in our previous video, this Sanctuary lyric bar. The size is correct, 1920 by 1080. That's the output that we want. You might have a different size, and that's all right. And then you can choose where you want to save it. So right now it's saving it to general. I want to save it to songs. And playlist, I'm going to add it to this playlist. And it's probably going to add it twice because I'm adding it to this placeholder, and then it's going to add it again down here, and that is fine. So yeah, we added it here, and then it added it again. Perfectly fine. We can just delete that one, but we've got this one still right here. Sorry, 1 second. I had to pull up a note. All right, so now we've got this song in our playlist. This is a new song, so we need to do a couple things. Right now, the order is not set, so it has chorus, verse 2, bridge, and tag. So typically, the chorus is going to happen more than once. So what we're going to do for our volunteers is we're going to create a new arrangement. What this is going to do is allow us to order the song in the way that the lyrics are going to be sung. So what we do is we create a new arrangement called default. You can call it whatever you'd like, sanctuary, youth, whatever you want to call it. So what we would do is our worship leader gives us the chord chart for the week, and on their chord chart, they have the order of the song. So we're not actually doing this song during our service, so I don't actually know the order of the song, but I would assume after verse 1, there's going to be a chorus. After verse 2, there's going to be a chorus. After the bridge, they're probably going to do the bridge twice. After the bridge, there's a couple choruses. And then the tag. So I would assume that this is a pretty standard order for a song. And now I can close this. This is your order. So now we've got this arrangement. So I could click master. I could change it back to the master arrangement, which is just that chorus, verse 1, verse 2, bridge, tag. So if you are someone who just wants to have a small presentation and just be able to click around wherever you need to be, if you want to do that, you have that option, or you can just go change your arrangement back to the default, and just click through as the song continues on. So you have those options right here in that arrangement section. So yeah, the next section we're going to look at is this reflow button. So we've been in edit. You guys know kind of what that looks like. This is the same options you have in the theme editing, except this is just for your presentation. So we're not going to look at this today. We're just going to skip over to reflow. So yeah, in reflow, typically this is where you're going to work if you bring in a song from Google. Typically you'll have all of your lyrics on one slide. So what we're going to actually do is we can bring in a song, bring in Glorious Day, because it's the first song that came to my head. And we're going to bring in, we'll say, 100 delimiters per slide. So this should put in all of them. So now when we go to reflow, it has all of these lines. But since our actual text box couldn't fit anymore, it went ahead and created a new slide. So what we can do here is, this is kind of what it would look like if you what it did actually is, because this was a chorus, it wouldn't put it with the verse. When you copy and paste from Google, it doesn't know what is a verse, what is a chorus, etc. So it just copies it and pastes it all into one of these groups. So what you can do is you have this option down here of insert slide break. There's also a shortcut option enter on Mac. I don't know what this shortcut is on Windows. I think it's Control Enter, maybe. Could be wrong. You can look that up on Windows, but on Mac it is Option Enter. So what this is going to do is it's going to break that into that first slide. So now we have this slide right here. This first slide is what we want it to look like. We've got 2 lines exactly how we like it. So then we go here again, Option Enter, Option Enter. And now we've got one with 1 line, which is fine. Sometimes not ideal, so we could do something like this. And now we've got that, which is not the nicest looking, but we have it all on one. And I'm not too worried about it right now for the demo. All right. And then, so for something like that, we could do that. So yeah, so then in reflow, we have a few other things we can do. And you can do all of these things on show or edit as well. You don't have to do them in reflow. When I bring in a song from Google, this is the way I find fastest. It's just going in every 2 lines, hitting Option Enter. It just is the easiest option for me. But again, you can find your shortcuts, your quickest ways. This is just my suggestion. But yeah, we've got a few options in these arrows. You can get these options on the show page as well. Edit slide will take you straight to the edit page. We've got disable. We're not going to worry about disable right now. Honestly, disable is kind of a useless function in my opinion. Doesn't do what you would think it does. I've talked to them about that. Hopefully they change that. Themes, you can change the theme of your presentation straight from here if you'd like. Transitions, we'll get into that later. Hotkey, don't worry about that. Go to next timer. Again, for songs, you would never really need this for a song. Add action. We use this a lot for a couple things. Audience look and stage is what we use this mostly for songs. So what we do is we have a lyric bar above our stage, and one of our looks has the lyric bar on. So for songs, we use the lyric bar, and then for teaching, we turn it off. So for our songs, we have a specific look that utilizes that lyric bar, and we have that look turned on for the songs. So you'll notice that when I turn it on, we'll say look 1. What I'll do is actually I would typically do this from the show page. I'll hit Command A, Command All, Select All, and I will add an action. what you'll notice is if I right click here and I try to add that action here, I cannot because it already has one. I would have to remove the action before I can add another one. But if I go here to one that does not have it, I can add that action perfectly fine. So yeah, now all of these, no matter where I click, it'll change the look to the one that I need it to be. So then when I go to the teach ones, I can put on the other look and it'll go to the correct one that I want. Another action that we do is the stage look. So for worship, it has the current text and the next text. And then for teach notes, it has just the current notes with pictures if the pastor has pictures or anything like that. So it's a little bit different than what the worship leader needs. Add media action. Again, we don't need that for worship. Label and group. So these are important. When we click just one, we can do group. So yeah, this is grouped as verse 1 currently. What we can do is group it as a verse. So this will change all three of these to verse. So what will happen is if I change just this third one, okay, so this is a very unintuitive feature in my opinion. So I can change this third one to, we'll say verse 4, because there's not a verse 4 currently. So now, if I go into the arrangements, there's a verse 4 in here now. So, because I've done this, so now, if I change this one to verse 1, it only changes these two to verse 1. This one stays the same, but I can now change this one back to verse 1. You would want it to stay with this one, but it doesn't, which that just doesn't make sense to me. So this is why I say it's unintuitive. You would think that it would join this one, but it doesn't. So then you have to go here and click this one again to get them all together as verse 1. So again, it's a little bit of a runaround to get this fixed if you do something like that. Where this comes in kind of to your workflow is when there's a bridge that is a little bit different. So some songs have differing bridges where there's 2 or 3 bridges where they build lyrically and they're different, and you want to label them as such. So like if this was bridge 1 and this was bridge 2, and you want to group this as bridge 2, that can get a little confusing and can mess you up. But that is an option. You don't have to do that. But then sometimes you have to if bridge 3 repeats twice, but you don't want to repeat the whole bridge. Yeah, it can just become a pain really quickly. So yeah, that's that workaround. If you change one and you can't get it to change back to be in the same group, that's how you get that done. And then you've got labels. This is what we do for teaching. So I'll show you kind of what we do. Labels is what we do is we create our own, and we'll say same passage or something like that when there's a group of when there's a group that go together, and you can color them as well. So you could do color it red. And again, you can select them all and do that. Oh my gosh, sorry. So yeah, if you ever have a like a side third that you need your volunteer to know, like he's going to do this one, then the next one, then the next one, without taking it off the screen, you can label those pretty easily like that. And that only shows right there on ProPresenter. No one else will see that. That's what we find the easiest way to do. So yeah, there's that option. Let's see. The next thing we have is operator notes. Again, you can put any notes here for your volunteers. We typically don't use this because we have comms, but you have that option for that. We'll go through the rest of these right here. This is your slideshow button. If you have announcements, this is what we use for announcements. If you click one, you can set a slideshow for custom seconds. We usually do 7 seconds for our announcement slides. And once you click one, it'll have this little advance right here. And when it gets to the next slide, or once it goes through 7 seconds, it'll go to your next slide. And that'll go through all of your slides on this specific presentation, and it'll repeat. So it won't go to your next presentation or anything, just the one that this is set on. So yeah, if you have announcements and you need them to just auto repeat, that's how you do that. The next one, this is timed cues. If you have no volunteers and you want to time your songs, if your band is playing to a click and they're pretty locked in, you can do this. A lot of people do this, and this is how they put their lyrics on the wall. They just play with their band and they time their cues. You just record, and then whenever the next cue comes, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, etc. So, and then you just play it. So like you would typically, you'd have an in-ear with your band and then you start it with them. So now you can see that it's going to change with that timer or with that track. So if you have a band that uses a click or uses a track, especially if you guys are using a track, you should do this unless you have volunteers who want to participate and serve. This is a great way to easily cut out mistakes if you guys are using a track. Over here, looks and transitions. Transitions. I don't really know who really uses anything other than dissolve and maybe fade and cut. You have the option for other transitions if you want. But yeah, those are there. So yeah, that's the basics of building a song. Again, if you want to copy and paste from Google, you have that option. Song select is what we do. And then you have the ability to edit those orders and bring them in from your library whenever you need to after that. So if you have any questions, you can leave a comment. I'll answer them. If I know the answer. If I don't, I will try to help you find it. But yeah, I'd appreciate if you guys leave a like and follow me or subscribe. And we'll get onto this next video soon. We'll see you guys soon.